Dear friends of the Tom Photo channel and all new viewers, today's topic is Fujinon XF 18 to 55mm zoom lens. This is a special lens because more than for any other lens you see people use the phrase world's best kit lens on the internet. So is it? Why do at least some people think that? How do you even judge this? How does it measure up to the non-kit lenses? Is it pro quality? I own 2 copies of this lens. 2 because sometimes I need to film with 2 identical camera setups. I've used this lens for just about everything. Chances are that if you're a Fuji user, you already own this lens. If it didn't come with your camera, it probably seemed to you like the most sensible lens to buy. The 18 to 55mm focal length range defines standard for everyday photography. The f-stop range of 2.8 to 4 makes it faster than most of the competition in the kit lens department, which would be 3.5 to 5.6 typically. Combine this with a dedicated aperture ring and an amazing image stabilization, and it already sounds like a winner. However, this is not it. You also get breathtaking image sharpness and detail, build quality of a tank, and lens connector made of metal. On the downside, you don't get weather resistance. It would be a bold request to want this out of a kit lens anyway. Are there any downsides? Maybe the price. A typical new price is between 600 and 700 euro, so it's not a bargain. I started out modestly and chose my words carefully. Now that we're well into the video, I cannot hold it back but tell you flat out that this is the best kit lens I've ever seen. And it's the best zoom lens I've ever seen. And it's among the best overall lenses I've seen. It tops as my #1 recommendation for Fujifilm camera users. If you want to buy just one lens, this is the one. It will cover the most ground for you in one go. It's essentially a pro quality lens that the Fujifilm manufacturer puts in front of the kit cameras. I don't know if they did it accidentally or because they overestimated their competition or they simply didn't have anything worse available at the time. Whatever the reason, they decided to go all out with this decision, and it worked. I think it has brought many people to Fuji system. I've used other camera systems besides Fuji, and they've all been very good. However, compared to the Fuji XF 18 to 55mm, their kit lenses have been noticeably inferior. With most other camera brands, it's probably a good idea to not use the kit lens for most serious work, but this is not the case at all with Fuji. I've been showing you some sample images taken with the XF 18 to 55 throughout this video. You cannot appreciate the fine detail over the HD video. If you saw the output of this lens on a large screen or as prints, you'd probably smile to yourself. I smiled in disbelief when I first saw what this lens can produce. It's this lens that made me primarily a Fuji user these days. Fuji has scaled back at times too. They also offer the XC 16 to 50mm and XC 15 to 45mm as other kit lenses. Neither is bad at all, especially the XC 15 to 45 offers wonderful image quality. Please see my link below. However, the XF 18 to 55 is superior for its build quality and what it can do. I particularly like it for video. The zoom ring offers nice resistance so that you can zoom in and out very smoothly indeed. The focusing speed is more than adequate, but depends much on the camera it's attached to. With Fujifilm X-T30 it's lightning fast. People say that Sony's are faster and I certainly believe them. The Fuji's focusing speed has been adequate for me. I'm trying hard to think of more bad things to say about this lens to keep this video in better balance, but it's not easy. I already mentioned the price. Maybe it's a bit too large for traveling with a very small camera body. I've noticed that I prefer my XC 15 to 45mm for traveling and for gimbal work. Maybe it's a bit too sterile. It does such a wonderful job capturing images with surgical accuracy that it lacks its own character. If you're into vintage lenses, then you may look at the pictures and say that they are without their own face. You don't recognize the work of this lens as you would that of the XF 35mm prime lens, for example. Is this lens too good to be good enough for everyone? A very philosophical and weird question indeed. Let's take a closer look. The lens uses filter size 58 and weighs 310 grams. The outermost ring is the zoom ring, which has standard markings. Turning the zoom does not turn the filter attached to it, but it makes a part of the lens extend out. The top part is not metal but plastic, but probably the highest quality plastic there is. The second ring is aperture ring. It turns endlessly in both directions and it's electronic, which means that it operates by giving the motor instructions to change the aperture. It clicks when it's turned, and I like this a lot. The bottom button lets you turn on and off image stabilization, which by the way is really great on this lens, and I'll have a special video on that. The top button switches between giving the aperture ring the control over f-stop and giving the camera body the control over the f-stop. I always determine the sweet spot for each lens I use. I've talked about how I do it before, please see the link below. Here it is briefly again for completeness sake. I determined the sweet spot at 3 focal lengths using the protocol linked below. These focal lengths were 18, 34 and 55. At each focal length the sweet spot turned out to be 10. So this is an f-stop 10 lens. This is the only lens I've seen so far that has the same f-stop value for maximal sharpness throughout its focal range. If you're asking about the dip in the graph at f-stop 6.7, you're asking a good question. It's very specific to this lens and it replicates when I repeat the experiment. Please let me know in the comments how you like this lens if you own one. If you have any questions to me, I'm always very happy to respond and interact with you. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. This would make me happy. I enjoyed telling you about this wonderful lens. Thanks so much for watching. Please also check out my other lens reviews as well as my other videos. I wish you a wonderful day.